Hi everyone, welcome to the video. Thank you for tuning in. A few different stories in the crypto space and something slightly different to what I usually cover. Before I begin, none of this is legal, tax and or financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I always recommend you do your own research before investing. So let's jump into it. The University of Cambridge recently launched an index for tracking the electricity consumption from Bitcoin mining. The data provides interesting insights into the profitability and environmental impact of cryptocurrency mining. Minimum and maximum estimates plus the averaged estimate there for Bitcoin, assuming that it takes 52 terawatt hours per year on average. Moving down the list. Cryptocurrencies have been around for more than a decade, but the environmental impact of the industry is still hard to calculate. Nonetheless, Bitcoin has attracted the ire of the environmentally conscious. Bloomberg ran a headline saying Bitcoin could theoretically put Paris climate goals out of reach. And The Guardian said Bitcoin mining is in inverted commas, killing the planet, and CNN said Bitcoin is a disaster for the environment. Meanwhile, Bitcoin advocates hold that the energy that goes into maintaining the fiat money supply or mining for gold is greater than what is used for the Bitcoin network. And I'll summarize the rest, and on that note, I'm glad that this article covered that because this is a huge counter-argument that should always be acknowledged. It says here, finding reliable data is near impossible. That's why the University of Cambridge has released this new tool. Further insight into this. According to this, if Bitcoin mining itself were a country, it would rank 43rd, and just for some point of view here, and there it is on the list. Still relatively low compared to the biggest energy consumers around the world. I assume that's the USA there, and then China would be one of those. Moving down, Cambridge University noted that while more accurate than most sources online, data from the CBECI is still limited, as it's impossible to determine the exact energy consumption of the Bitcoin network. The CBECI provides a range of possibilities, as shown earlier, the upper and lower bound estimates, and then long-term predictions. And here we've got this fascinating scatter plot. For those not looking at the screen, it says here the evolution of Bitcoin mining equipment efficiency over time using a joules per giga hour as a comparison, and it's dropped by a factor of about 10 compared to compared to 2014. So in just 5 years, a huge energy improvement there. A few things I want to point out. I'll let you read through the rest of the article, but we need to remember that 1, the equipment efficiency has improved substantially. 2, we have greener sources of energy, whether they come from renewables or for some people nuclear. That's a separate debate. I will not engage in that because the focus is on crypto before people get started. Thirdly, we have so many other countries that use vast amounts of energy, and especially in the developing world, that demand will continue to increase. To put the blame on Bitcoin, it's a bit rich. I mean, yes, it's caught some countries off guard because there are huge amounts of energy involved in powering the mining equipment and all of that. But we also need to remember that as Bitcoin rises and as it starts to replace, whether it replaces gold as a store of value, whether it's replacing fiat for transactions and all, then we will see a lot less demand for cash money or gold bullion, and then there'll be less of an impetus to mine it. We also need to factor in all the processes involved, especially with gold, the mining, the storage, transportation, and then manipulating it into its various forms for different uses. It's very superficial to argue that Bitcoin is solely responsible for the overwhelming demand or the burden on some countries in regards to energy. And I want to point out a chart here. According to this, the annual cost of Bitcoin mining is a fraction of that of gold. I encourage you to read more of this because this is just one source. And for those that are keen to pursue this in further detail, I'll link to all of these articles in the description and you do your further reading from there. Moving on the note of gold is holding near 6-year highs amid Friday's non-farm payrolls data. The yellow metal looks set to record another week of bullish gains after smashing through previous resistance at $1,360. And on that note, I just want to jump over to charts here on TradingView. So this is the website here. As you can see, let's go over the past 6 years. I have to say on a quick side note, when I look at this, I'm so used to seeing incredible volatility in such a short period of time, thinking of Bitcoin, but this is only showing data going back to 1997. I wanted to see the volatility back in the day when Bitcoin would have jumped from say like $1 to $10 or $1 to $20, makes it look very wild compared to what we have now with gold. So Bitcoin, I believe, will eventually follow this trend of more stability as it becomes well established in decades to come. According to this, it's saying this is a positive sign to buy, and then there are various commentators in the trading space or the technical analysis space that will give their input about whether to short it or long it, whether you sell it or whether you buy it. And there for your reading pleasure, let's look at Bitcoin. So gold rated as buy, Bitcoin rates as a strong buy. So that's something positive for us to reflect on. Litecoin is rating here as a sell. Now, this comes as a surprise because next month, as we know, we've got the block reward halving, and this is anticipated to increase the price substantially. To what extent, we don't know. It's possible that the price might not actually increase. Time will tell. With this limited supply, with a further restriction in the supply or the reward being halved, this should make a difference. So Litecoin coming in at sell. Ethereum, people are supporting the idea of buying Ethereum. EOS, on the other hand, sell. This is a real surprise because we've already actually EOS hasn't dropped as much as some of the other cryptos during the bear market, but despite the price rises, we are still a long distance from the all-time highs back at the end of 2017, or for EOS it was, I think, middle of 2018. Let's look at XRP, which is a crowd favorite. I have to throw it in. I guess there'll be an uproar otherwise. Sell. I don't get this. Sell XRP. The price is, let's look at this for perspective compared to where it was at its all-time high. Look at that. It was what? Say about $3.60 approximately. Geez, this is, my goodness, this is showing it at what, $2.80. But anyway, as you've seen elsewhere, it's gone up to about $3.60 depending on where you look. So approximately 90% down from its all-time high. And there are commentators in the space that expect this to drop. Someone's saying, and I'm just going to read the headline here, XRP will see you at an eventual 8 cents. I think they're a bit nuts. I highly doubt XRP would ever drop below 30 cents again because there's so much momentum and hype, and there's been a vast amount of good news by Ripple about adoption and all of this. I think this person has rocks in their head, just my own opinion. Again, not financial advice. 8 cents? Jeez, my goodness. Again, I'm not into technical analysis. I don't really understand it. That's why I don't usually discuss it. But however, I like to give people this information about TradingView. Plenty of reading to do. You won't be bored this weekend. And what are your thoughts on all of this? I'm curious to hear what you have to say. Now, moving on to the next article here. So Business Insider ran this original story about Gen Zers or Gen Zers, depending on where you are. Them not being very fond of cryptocurrency, which would probably come as a surprise to many considering how tech savvy they are. I'll read the CCN article as I've got official permission from them. So let's have a look here. Most Gen Z or Gen Z Americans have no plans to get into crypto. Hard to believe as it may seem, this was the result of a survey of nearly 2,000 young Americans published by Business Insider. The firm responsible for conducting the investigation was Cint, a company specializing in the analysis and exchange of data. The study wanted to, in inverted commas, learn how Generation Z views the world, including how it thinks about time and money on the internet and the physical world. And, quote, this included researching their interest in crypto and digital assets. It says here, the conclusion made is that Gen Z hates crypto, but millennials love it. I guess myself being a millennial. They're just pointing out the salient information here. The study revealed that just over half of those under the age of 25 want nothing to do with cryptocurrencies. Another 17% is not so likely. So that's ruling out approximately 70% of the population of, the Gen Zers under the age of 25, according to this, that are not interested in cryptocurrency. However, according to this, the point is that Facebook's Libra may be a game changer. And this goes through some of the key demographics of the users, or the genders and the ages of the users for Facebook, Instagram, and I think WhatsApp as well, which are all owned by Facebook, and how the accessibility to Libra to anyone around the world and the instant transactions, they argue that this would be a significant development in the idea of promoting cryptocurrencies. Part of me begs to differ, and I do want to point out just my thoughts about this article. Most of these people in this generation either haven't done work or have very little experience in the workforce or professionally. That's one thing. Secondly, their understanding of something as complex as Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, And it's quite complicated for the average person. People at this age, I reflect back to my time, probably when I was in my teens or early 20s, I didn't understand that. Most of them probably don't even care. They have so much going on in their life and all of this social stuff and all these other distractions. There are a few, and we know some in the space that have profited like immensely. These bright-minded youngsters that thought, okay, let's invest and make a ton of it. But this will change. Give these people a few years, and with or without Libra, ideally the latter, because I don't see the need to rely on Libra stablecoin to convince this generation that, cryptocurrencies are a wonderful idea. They'll come to realize that the current system is broken with finance. Cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology are there to revolutionize the whole system. Time will tell. I'm not fazed by this. People can assume whatever they want. Personally, what are your thoughts on this? I came across this crypto. This is not an endorsement. I just want to make this explicitly clear. Barely know anything about it, but in case you see this, please do your own research before even potentially investing in this. In case you get some idea in your head. Monero is in the news. According to the Daily Hodl here, this is an article about system vulnerabilities with the Monero ecosystem. The development team of altcoin Monero, or XMR, recently divulged 9 vulnerabilities in their system, including one that could have allowed hackers to counterfeit XMR. In a report published on HackerOne, a security platform that connects organizations with white hat hackers, security researchers detail the counterfeiting issue, which was marked as critical. According to the Monero researchers, and I do quote, by mining a specially crafted block that still passes daemon verification, an attacker can create a miner transaction that appears to the wallet to include some of XMR picked by the attacker. It is our belief that this can be exploited to steal money from exchanges. End quote. Monero, which focuses on privacy and security, reports that the vulnerability was resolved in late March. Other vulnerabilities disclosed by the company include multiple DOS attack vectors, one of which was marked as critical, and memory leaks to untrusted network peers. All were marked as resolved. Monero is the 14th largest crypto with a market cap of nearly $1.5 billion US at the time of writing, and then further information in the report there. That's the Daily Hodl website. I encourage you to read through other articles they have too, and I'm trying to get sources or get information from various sources there. And a bit of a summary about the market here. So Bitcoin has gone up a bit over the past 24 hours. Let's go into further details here in terms of how it's fared over the past 7 days. So it kind of yo-yoed there. We've got 12,000 earlier in the week and then dropped down to just below 10,000. It was starting to raise a bit of fears in some people, and then gone back up to 11,000, and it's steadied this price for the past 2 to 3 days. Back to the other cryptos as well. The whole market overall is really struggling to take off. Bitcoin's dominance at its highest in about 18 months. Let's go through some of the data here. Compared to where we were at the height of that bull run at the end of 2017, it's really getting a stranglehold on the rest of the market. The overall crypto market has managed to hold above 300 billion. Let's get this to keep on growing. I really hope that by the end of this year, we can set a new all-time high, not just for Bitcoin, but for the overall market cap, and see what happens with the altcoins. Fingers crossed that they pick up some momentum, because this is getting a little bit frustrating in terms of why the prices haven't increased. Monero is up nearly 10% over the past 24 hours. Overall, up or down by 1 or 2% mostly. Amize Go is up 3%, that's good. And Komodo's up 9%, but that's pretty much it for the top 50. Nothing really special to point out there. That's a wrap. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to stay up to date with the latest content, and smash the bell icon as well to not miss out on any of my latest videos. But I do apologize for the delay in making this. It's been a hectic week, and I've had some family issues as well. If you have any feedback to provide or just want to say g'day, well, share your thoughts in the comments section as well, and share this with anyone you believe will benefit from this information. I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, afternoon, or evening, and enjoy your weekend as well. And I'll chat to you soon. Thanks again, and see you later.